Saints take the pitch for this evening's clash here at Oddsall. 6:15 kick-off. Obviously it's on BSB. Saints with the second match of 4 televised matches, and once again we've been poo-pooed from the regular spot at Bradford undercover, and we're out here in the elements on top of the sponsors' boxes at Bradford. Both teams needing the points for different reasons. Saints want to keep up the charge at the top of the Stonebitter League Championship table, whereas Bradford there ensconced at the bottom end. A tight clash expected tonight. Always a difficult tie here at Bradford. Referee for this evening's match is Colin Morris, no stranger to the St Helens public, with his refereeing of the Saints home match against Featherstone, with a little bit of bite in that fixture as well. And they're both captain centre field. Paul Bishop for Saints, David Hobbs for Bradford, and referee Morris. The Saints team for tonight is Phil Beavers at fullback. A changed three-quarter line-up. It's Les Quirk, Mike Riley, Alan Hunt and Tony Sullivan. Tierra Patty and Paul Bishop the half-back pairing, with Forber Groves and man in the front row, Harrison, Nicol and Dwyer the back three. Mark Bailey and Shane Cooper are substitutes. The Bradford side, Roger Simpson at full-back, Cordell, Shelford, Anderson and Francis at the three-quarters, Marchant and Summers, the half-back partnership with Gratian, Noble and Hamer in the front row, Greenwood, Hobbs and Medley the back three, with Aitey and Richards the substitutes. Both teams lining up there for a minute's silence for Harry Kitchen, the president of Bradford Northern, who unfortunately died last week.
Bradford Northern's president, Mr. Harry Kitchen, who died last week. Thank you very much.
Well, a minute's silence there is said for Harry Kitchen, and as you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you can always guarantee a full minute's silence from a rugby league crowd, not the usual interruptions from the fellas in the round ball game. But Saints welcoming George Mann back after a 4-match suspension. Jonathan Griffiths and Gary Conley, beg your pardon, on international duty as Roger Simpson breaks through, finally pulled down with an excellent burst from Simpson, and he's played around in quite a few positions. He's a wingman, I think, by right, but he's been in the standoff berth, full-back berth, and not long ago when he played at full-back, and witness were the Bradford's opponents that day, and Bradford witness certainly peppered him with the high balls and what have you, and no doubt the Saints will do that today. But it's Bradford in possession, a charge down, come back, is the tackle count waved off or not? No, it's still held, referee Morris there, the sixth tackle, and it's Simpson again, grubbers it through, Sonny Nicol quickly down on it, stops it with his legs and picks it up quickly. Saints with the first touch, John Harrison. As I said, George Mann back in the fold. Kevin Ward rested for this evening's match. Gary Conley and Jonathan Griffiths on international duty. And George Mann there, getting his first touch and coming through. Quick play the ball. Saints trying to move it quickly. Mike Riley taking up the running, going cross-field. There's some pace in this three-quarter line for St Helens with Quirk, Riley, Hunt and Sullivan. And let's hope they can put it to good use this evening. Saints moving it left, Bernard Dwyer in at the loose forward berth. Shane Cooper being rested, but he's on the substitutes bench. Tough tie coming up this Saturday as Paul Bishop grubbers it crossfield. Quickly taken there, Richard Francis takes it well, but the cover defence comes up quickly. Saints move in there. Roger Simpson at dummy half. He's trying to burrow his way through. An excellent 35-40 yard run from Simpson just a few minutes ago. But it's Bradford Northern in possession. Brian Noble, ex-Great Britain international hooker, at dummy half. Onto Gratian, Paul Gratian, son of the evergreen Jeff Gratian. He's brought down by John Harrison there. And Tierra Patty. With a kick through by Bradford again. Touch the Saints player, I believe. On the way, and it'll be a scrum down with a Bradford feed. Just to the right of our commentary position. I hope your pitch is all right, as you'll no doubt if you're here and you're watching this again on the video. We're about 3 days camel ride away from the pitch, but it is a good spec. Bradford to feed, the scrum collapses, but Bradford have possession. Tony Marchant. He's in possession. Saints cover defence, moving quickly. Oh, swirling wind blowing here at Oddsall. Three minutes of play, no score yet. Paul Gratian turned in the tackle, releases the ball. Referee Morris there urging the Saints back on side as Bradford move it over to the right. And a long flighted kick, well taken by Phil Beavers, well positioned. Saints in possession. Tony Sullivan coming in field there. And now Bishop putting the kick down again. The Saints are chasing it. Richard Francis, Roger Simpson back there. Francis gathers it. Very lax there, and he's upended by Mike Riley. Les Quirk, he comes in for the tackle now. Les Quirk obviously not been getting his first team place as of late, but there's one thing about Quirky, he's certainly a match winner, a big match winner. Whether he'll get a place on the bench or whatever for this Saturday's starting lineup against the old Pie Eaters, who beat Warrington in the second round of the Cup today, 14 points to 0. And that'll be a full house at Nosey Road, I would imagine, even though the full game, I think it's the full game, will be on the grandstand. It is a 3 o'clock kick-off. But hopefully we'll be there if the powers that be grant us a space. There should be enough room on the gantry at St Helens. Fine facilities at St Helens. It's just when you go away that you're struggling a bit. Saints are in possession. Brought down midway between the Bradford 25 and the halfway line. Paul Groves wants a quick play of the ball. Saints bring it to the right. Bishop onto Sonny Nickel. But excellently tackled there by Bradford. Moving in quickly. Bernard Dwyer at dummy half, and Saints moving it over. Farber straightens it up. Solid tackle again. Sixth and final tackle. Bishop at dummy half. Tactical kicking for the corner. It just finds touch, yes. Oh, well, it just over to the right of the sticks. It looked to me as though he'd gone to the left of that corner flag, but obviously not. Touch judge a bit nearer than us. As I say, it's a fair distance away from the pitch up here. It's a fine stadium. If it was covered here at Bradford Northern, excellent terracing just below us, but it's wild, right in the open, only the one stand there that holds quite a lot of people. But very bleak, and there are some bleak specks over here in this side of the Pennines. Bradford again, Hobbs trying to get his side going. Ball's loose, Bishop has it. Trying to scamper away, well, nearly took a swinging arm off for David Hobbs. Good job he ducked and it missed. Sonny Nickel. From a standing start, powering his way up to the Bradford 25. 6 minutes of the game gone, no score at present. Bernard Dwyer attacked in half-back. Saints move it, infield. George Mann, he's looking for the gap. Good ball to Beavers in the line. Excellently tackled there by Northern. Mike Riley from acting half-back, but he's held. The cover defence certainly doing its job for Bradford. Rapati. Looks as though he tried to get the ball away. It's the sixth and final tackle now, and no way through for the Saints at present. Dwyer onto Bishop. Bishop gets it away. It's on the sixth tackle, remember. Harrison tries to kick it, but he's taken down as he tried to get it away. Saints caught on the hop there on the sixth tackle. Nothing wrong in that, 1-1, but referee Morris judging it was a spear tackle. Paul Groves in there quickly, and he reckons he's been dumped. But Bradford have the penalty. They find touch just inside the Saints half. Saints penalised for offside, so referee Morris up to his old tricks again. Obviously winning the hearts of the St Helens public. Early days yet, we've only had 7.5 minutes. He started off something like this at home against Featherstone, didn't he? And then caused the players that much aggravation that things didn't go right at the end. But everybody was cleared on that day. 3 players that were sent from the field after an alleged brawl through some refereeing inconsistencies. But anyway, Bradford have the penalty. It's in front of the sticks, but it's 35 yards out. David Hobbs, the usual kicker. Just while he's getting ready, just let me tell you that the Leeds game, the cup game last week, which Saints won handsomely, is now available, the full match, the BBC version. We've managed to obtain one, and it's available from the promotions shop. So don't forget, relive that full match again in its entirety, not just the 40 minutes or so that they managed to show us on the box on the day. Hobbs misses it. Saints drop out from the 25. Excellent kick, deep kick, 60 odd yards, and Simpson has the ball for Northern. Bradford in possession. Paul Gratian, hefty lad, gets the ball away. Bradford backing up, an excellent break there. Gratian taking the ball, moving it quickly, unloading in the tackle, and Northern bringing it left. The ball's loose. It is now. Well, it's gone again. It's going to be a knock-on. The original knock-on should result in a scrum down with the Saints feed, because Saints couldn't capitalise on that loose ball. Yes, the feed being given to St Helens. Paul Bishop will feed the scrum just inside the Saints half.
Could we have Christine Hunt to the PA box?
Right, Saints come up with possession, and Rafati in the clear, moving to the left. Excellent break there. Now it's Bernard Dwyer in the loose forward position this evening. Beavers at dummy half, onto Bishop. George Mann taking up the running. Unloads there to Les Quirk. Quirk just brought down. Has to take the tackle and then gets what looks like another over-the-top tackle from Bradford. George Mann. Beavers back to George Mann. Saints spreading it. Forber has the ball in the Bradford 25. George Mann attacked in half-back. Saints move it left. Short ball to Harrison. He drives towards the line. He's brought down 10 yards short. The 6th and final tackle. Harrison gets up very slowly. Dwyer inside to Bishop. Cross chip as Bishop, but it's too deep. Simpson retrieves it, and Bradford will restart from the centre of the 25. Paul Gratian now, and he's one that lads are coming for some extra special attention. The Northern crowd don't like the way he was brought down, but he's a big lad and you've got to bang him down, haven't you? As long as it's fair and hard, that's all we can ask. But it's Northern in possession. Hobbs trying to spread it, quickly wrapped up. George Mann has him there. Noble at dummy half, and Northern trying a crossfield kick. Tony Sullivan gathers it in his own 25, he's coming crossfield. Gives it to Phil Beavers. Beavers are nearly breaking out of the tackle there, Phil Beavers. Sullivan again at dummy half, is it? Saints move upfield. Saints in possession. Well, they've just lost it there. What has happened? Bradford Northern have possession. Roger Simpson coming up from the full-back position. Unloads it, but Mike Riley has the ball. The Bradford man couldn't gather it. It just touched his feet, and it was a bad pass. Touched his feet, and he kicked it towards the Saints, and Mike Riley was there to retrieve it. 12 minutes of the game gone, no score. Bitterly cold evening here at Oddsall, Bradford. And Bradford penalised for not lining up for one behind the other at the play of the ball. A penalty award to the Saints, and a substitution being made. John Harrison coming off, and Shane Cooper having to come on after 12 and a half minutes. So reshuffle in the pack, which will mean Bernard Dwyer into the second row, and Shane Cooper in at the loose forward berth. Saints captain as Norm, Shane Cooper, but Bishop captain for this evening. But both of them will be giving the orders, no doubt. Saints now setting up a platform for a score, let's hope, and Forber 15 yards from the Bradford line. Cooper there, attacking half-back. Bishop along the line, Rapati misses out one man onto Hunt, onto Riley. Comes in for some extra special tackling there, and Saints again, peppering this Bradford line. Cooper. Saints keep it moving, it's with Forber. He drives up centre field. Groves, attacking half-back, moves it left. Cooper again, Rapati's there. Good ball out, well taken on the far side. Alan Hunt, I think it was that time. Bishop again, cross-field kick. Taken by Bradford on the sixth tackle. That's the idea, put the Bradford defence under pressure. And Rapati, I think it is, holding Simpson. Well, could have resulted in a try for the Saints. That's some handling, throwing the ball out on their own line. The Saints spectators get behind their team, as they have done as of late. And there will certainly be an atmosphere at Nosey Road this Saturday when the Saints entertain Wigan in the Challenge Cup third round. A home tie, no more than we could have wanted. Bradford trying to spread it. Saints defence come in. Sixth and final tackle now for Bradford. To Hobbs, but it's bounced off a Saints player, come inside, and Bishop has it. Bishop breaks through. Lovely ball to Vivers. Excellent to the Saints. Yes, good handling again. Where can he take it? Well, he was taken without the ball there. He was juggling with it. But a knock-on rule, excellent handling, or excellent ball distribution from the Saints. But the last pass just going amiss. Les Quirk juggling with it, and actually taken without the ball. But a scrum down for the knock-on. Bradford feed. Neil Summers to feed, and Bradford have the possession. Saints look to peg Bradford in their own 25 for the remainder of these tackles. But George Mann penalised for offside, moving up too quickly. Referee Morris right on the job. Saints brilliant last week at Leeds, weren't they? 7-try romp against Leeds in the second round of the Cup. 2 for Cooper, 2 for Connolly, 2 for Sullivan, and 1 for Alan Hunt. And it certainly did our wingmen no injustice at all. They're coming for a bit of stick as of late, Hunt and Sullivan. But super tries, finished off well, plenty of pace in the backs as there is tonight. And wasn't Alan Hunt an excellent try? Rounded his man, took him on the outside. Excellent display. Much Northern in possession. Bringing it left. Hobbs chips it through, but Beaver's well positioned there again. Takes it well and brings it away. John Hamer going in there just to complete the tackle. Cooper straightens it up. Let's hope the injury to John Harrison isn't too serious. Obviously with the cup looming. Sonny Nicol powering his way upfield. Runs onto that short ball excellently. Quick hands, yes, good ball. Cooper to Forber. Out there to Alan Hunt. On to Sullivan. Well, it was a bit of a hard pass there from Hunt to Sullivan. Certainly looked a bit of a bullet pass from this distance. The idea was right, quick hands, get the ball away. But Tony Sullivan couldn't take it. put it to ground, and a scrum down on the far side. Northern win possession. Saints penalised for offside. Right over here near us, so Simpson plays it quickly, tries to scamper away. Bishop wraps him up and forces him back 5 yards. Rapati in there at the action, but it's Northern in possession. A bitter evening, as we said before, the game being shown live on Sky. But we're here with you, as per usual, when facilities allow it. Bradford now moving it left. Tony Marchant, Speed Merchant looking for pace, and looking for space, I should say. Dumped to the ground. Sixth and final tackle of this sequence. Saints break quickly, and Hobbs lofts it high. Quirk takes it well, with his back to the Bradford Northern runners who are coming up. Now it's Mike Riley. Saints pegged 10 yards from the line. George Mann trying to make a bit of space. Groves feeds it inside to Sonny Nicol, but the Bradford Northern defence, they're holding firm, making sure the Saints don't gain any yardage. But George Mann again bursting through, creates a bit of space. It's with Sonny Nicol, just on the 25 now. Saints gradually clawing the way up, but it's the sixth and final tackle. Bishop will get the kick away. Well, it's touched a Bradford Northern player. It's all on, but Richard Francis has it. Bradford in possession. Tony Anderson turns it inside. Summers onto Marchant. Quick tackling there. Alan Hunt in like a shot. And Bradford forced back. 20 minutes of the game gone and no score at present. Tightly contested match. Limited chances for either team, but it's Hobbs looking for the gap, trying to get it through. Peter Fox, the Bradford coach, the wily old campaigner, he'll have his team fired up, even though they're at the wrong end of the table. Mike McLennan, the Saints coach, he wasn't all that keen on having the game played this evening, with Alan Hunt being drafted in as travelling reserve, but he was released by the Great Britain squad. And obviously, as we're here, the game goes on. Mike Riley trying to scamper away. Limited chances for either team. Well, Farber there couldn't take it. Bernard Dwyer tried to get it away. Farber couldn't take it, but it was taken without the ball. Paul Gratian gets it away, but it's surely not forward. Yes, not forward. Referee Morris right on the job. Scrum down midway between the Saints 25 and the halfway line. Saints feed. Bishop feeds. Well, Bradford penalised, foot up in the scrum. Any of you regular lady viewers of our video, if you've been here tonight and you're watching us again and you know how cold it is, I mean, if you fancy knitting us a few balaclavas for on the odd occasion that we get up on these cold specs, I'm sure they'd be very warmly welcomed. But it's Saints now looking to put it together, 10 yards from the Bradford line. Cooper along the line, George Mann bursting through, support there from Rapati. Excellent try for the Saints. Splendid try, set up there by Bishop. George Mann coming through, bursting through the defence, and who's there on hand? Saints ever present, Tia Rapati, and he finishes off in good style. Rapati breaks the deadlock. His 13th try of the season for the Saints.
The try scorer for St Helens, number 6, T. Rapati.
And the PA system there, just reiterating what I've already told you. Rapati coming through excellently, backing up, the Saints there backing up, and George Mann running onto the ball, and this is what it's all about. You've got to run hard onto the ball. Saints there, they had a penalty, they made good use to it, found touch in the 10 yards from the Bradford line, and then Saints brought the ball over to us here, over to the right, and Rapati finished off in good style. 22 minutes gone. Bishop now hoping to tag the extra 2 points on. Unfortunately couldn't pop them over last week at Headingley. It's on the right side for him, left-footed kicker. Let's hope he can have a better night tonight. Allows too much for the wind that time. Over to the left of the sticks, but Saints have a 4-0 cushion, a 4-0 lead. And 23 minutes have gone on the clock. 17 minutes of the first half remaining. And Bradford forced to kick off, but I think, are they going to make a substitution? Looks like Paul Gratian coming off, holding his back. And Craig Richards comes on to replace him.
Number 15, Craig Richards, replaces number 8, Paul Gratian.
So Bradford get things underway. Beavers, Saints employ the kicking game again. Beavers peppers it back at the Bradford Northern fullback. But it's on the far side. The ball touched on the far side there by General Cordell. But it's Simpson that comes away with it. Saints press up. Alan Hunt in at the tackle there. Groves again sniffing round, and George Mann comes in. Very unlucky George, picking up that 4-match ban on New Year's Day. Well, he was sent off on New Year's Day for an innocuous tackle and on a fellow Kiwi SNA for Milo. Look, nothing in it, but the disciplinary committee didn't look at it that way. Dispatched him for a 4-match rest. Back now and looking quite sharp. Northern break quickly. Knocked on. Saints scan the ball. Paul Bishop brings it up. Well, jumped unceremoniously to the ground there. And the Bradford Northern player took a knock. Quick hands. Beavers looking for the gap. Driving up to the halfway line. And Saints still in possession. I think that's Bernard Dwyer. Brought down on the halfway line. Saints moving it again. Gradually making headway up to that Bradford 25-yard line. Bishop along the line. George Mann again. Bounces off the tacklers. Back to Bishop. He brings it over to the left. Gets this ball away to Mike Riley. Looking for space. Quirk from acting halfback. Tries to scamper away. No way through for him. Sixth and final tackle for the Saints. They'll move it centre field. Cooper at dummy half. It's on to Bishop. Lofts it high. Hanging in the breeze. Puts pressure on Simpson. The ball's loose. That's on to Bernard Dwyer. Well, Saints there. Another 6 tackles now. Only 5 yards short. Inside ball for Farber. Is he over? Yes, Farber's in. Excellent try from the Saints again. Set up again by something that I mentioned early on in our transmission about Simpson being at full-back, and when Widnes played Bradford, they peppered him. He's not the usual full-back, and that's the way to find the faults in his defence. They did it then. They put him under a lot of pressure. Saints come up with the ball, and from the ensuing 6 tackles that they had, they only got on to about the second tackle, and Farber went over. His 4th try of the season. Eight points to nil now. And the Saints in the lead with Paul Bishop with a similar, well, just a bit nearer to the posts. And let's see how we can do with this one. Unfortunately, goes to the left of the sticks again. But Saints with 2 tries in the space of 4 minutes. Gives them an 8-point lead. 13 minutes and a half remaining. And Bradford to kick off yet again. The ball sits up for Beavers. Peppers it down the Bradford Northern throats again. Simpson takes it on the bounce. Up to the halfway line. He's dispatched to the earth. And now Bradford trying to put some running together. Solid tackling from the Saints. Groves and Nickel combined to bring the man down. Tony Marchant attacked in half. Turns the ball in field. Hobbs with a loop movement there. And now it's Sir Medley. He's going centre field, looking for the support. Marchant's with him, but he has to come back. Tries to get himself a bit of space. And Bradford putting their best passage of play together that we've seen this evening. Hobbs again, long ball to Simpson. Well, the ball loose and got into touch on the far side. Simpson there, linking up from the full-back position. And Hobbs throwing a long ball out, but it went into touch. Scrum down with a Saints feed, and Saints penalised. Differential penalty at the scrum. Well, what sort of an indication that is off referee Morris, I don't know. There's a chance for Bradford Northern now to build up. A planned ploy there, the old 3-man wall. Richards coming through, brought down centre field, 10 yards short. Bradford now looking to get points on the board, trailing by 8 points to 0. Well, the ball's loose, it's knocked back. Bradford still in possession, very lucky there, pushing the ball back. And Saints making sure that Bradford don't get any nearer. Richards again, strong running forward, on and replacing Paul Gratian. Bradford trying to throw it about and just losing a bit of impetus there. Marchant from dummy half, Bradford bringing it blind. Well taken there. Is it Mike Riley, I think, that's taken it? He took it well. Saints play it, and George Mann now bringing it away. Saints looking for support. It's Les Quirk. Takes 3 men to bring Quirk down. Paul Forber tries to get it away to Sonny Nickel. Couldn't take it cleanly. Knocked it forward. Referee Morris right on the job. And a scrum down. Bradford feed. Hobbs, the Bradford captain, turns it in field. Adam Greenwood. They try to keep it moving, didn't release it. 3 men on the outside there, and it's now turned inside. Bradford looking for a score. Hobbs again, long cut-out pass, chip through, but it's gone into touching goal. Yes, already gone dead. A 25-yard tap restart for the Saints. Paul Groves there. As George Mann comes rampaging through, turns it in field, Groves again. Saints keeping it going. Richards, one of the tacklers there with Marchant. Groves turns it inside, Cooper. Gets the ball back to Paul Bishop. Goes in low, ducks under the tackle there. And Saints moving up for 25 yards as Sonny Nickel. Well, he's lost the ball. knocked it forward. Probably knocked out in the tackle. Solid tackling from Bradford. Nothing more than we can expect. But he was up there at the Saints' end for about 12 tackles. Trying to put pressure on the Saints. But the defence held firm. Mark Bailey warming up on the touchline for the Saints. Perhaps just as a precautionary measure. But Bradford win possession from the scrum. Move it over to the right. Now turned in field, Roger Simpson. Coming cross field, he'll have to be bounced down. He's got quite a bit of pace on him, this fellow, when he's in the clear. Usually in the three-quarter line. Craig Richards. Big forward. Takes some pulling down. Well, Groves there, he has his arms out. He's done the tackling, and Sir Richards must have had hold of him. Bradford still in possession. Hobbs chips it through. And the Bradford player obviously offside there, and he had to hold back. Referee Morris right on the job, but Saints come away with it. Being forced back there to the 25-yard line. Referee Morris lining up the Bradford side. Bishop onto Bernard Dwyer. Dwyer again, keeps the ball moving. It's Sonny Nicol now, stretching those big legs up to the halfway line. He gets up and plays it quickly. Saints, George Mann, bring it blindside up to Mike Riley. Keeps it going, back to George Mann, back to Mike Riley. Saints certainly throwing the ball about, and Riley still going. 10 yards inside the Bradford half. And Saints looking sharp. Beavers again, onto Bishop, into space. Back, Saints keep it moving. George Mann now, going crossfield, up to the 25, turns it back to Farber. Farber straightens up, gives the dummy, then it's on to Bernard Dwyer. And Saints certainly throwing it about, moving up 40, 50 yards. Sixth and final tackle of this sequence. Bishop going for the drop. Waved away by referee Morris. But it's on the sixth tackle and the chance of getting a point. 8 points to 0 in the lead, Saints are, with 5 minutes of the half remaining. And we certainly will relish the half-time interval to get a bit of hot liquid down our throats. A bitterly cold evening and out here in the elements. Simpson moving crossfield, should have let it go then. 3 men on his outside. But he chose to take the tackle. Marchant was at dummy half, inside to Summers. Summers moves it over to the right. Hobbs and then over to the far side. Onto the caudal wing. Got Sullivan quickly into the tackle, and Sullivan bundles his man into touch. Excellent tackling on the far side. As I said last week at Leeds, those 2 tries for Tony Sullivan certainly didn't do him any harm. He's been out with an injury for about 6 weeks. Also back in the fold shortly, Paul Loughlin. I do believe he's been given the go-ahead for well, he has been training, but to give it the full Monty and get back in and hopefully get back in the first team. Rapati breaking through there. Excellent run from Tia Rapati. Bradford penalised for holding down at the tackle as Rapati trying to make effort to get up. Beavers takes the penalty quickly. Excellent kick from Beavers. Finds touch 10 yards from the Bradford line. Every time the Saints have been 10 yards within the Bradford line, we've made it count with 2 tries from Rapati and Farber. Well, let's go again, boys. George Mann this time, looking for the gap. Turns the ball inside his feet now with Dwyer. Can he stretch out there? He's brought down only a foot or so short of the line. It's on the charge again, another 5 tackles. 2 get points. Cooper now. Beavers. Long ball out to Hunt. Yes. Sullivan. Oh, he couldn't take it. A forward pass ruled. But Saints doing all the spade work there, and the final pass just going and miss again. Right in that far corner. Forward pass ruled, but I don't think Sullivan had taken it. Scrum down, Bradford feed. Solid tackling from the Saints as Bradford scamper away in the last 2 minutes of this half. Bradford there trying to play for a penalty. Looks like Richards coming away with the ball, but solid tackling. George Mann and Bernard Dwyer come in there, bang the man to the ground. Bradford bring it blindside. Brian Noble it was. Tony Anderson attacked in half, turned it inside. Saints penalised for offside. George Mann again, exceptionally quick out of the blocks is George tonight. But referee Morris right on the job. Penalises the Saints. 8 points to 0 the score. And just a couple of minutes before the half-time interval. Richards. And Bradford now 35 yards from the Saints line. Very limited scoring chances they've had. David Hobbs used to be a player coach here, but Peter Fox back in the fold. Second spell, I do believe, at Bradford Northern. And it gives Hobbs now just the chance to concentrate on captaining the side without the extra responsibility of coaching them as well. But Bradford moving upfield, sixth and final tackle for them. And they're within 15 yards of the Saints line. Anderson tries to chip it through. Well, the ball being knocked dead. Referee Morris going to the touch judge. Tries given. Well, I very much dispute that decision. But Bradford on the score sheet, given by the touch judge there. Anderson tries to chip it through. Well, the ball being knocked dead. Referee Morris going to the touch judge. Tries given. Well, I very much dispute that decision. Time, I would imagine, for the goal kick to be taken by David Hobbs. This could mean Bradford coming within 2 points of the Saints if Hobbs is successful. 8 points to 4 at present. Well, it looks good, yes. Excellent kick from Hobbs. Oh no, just falling short. Obviously didn't have the distance. There's the half-time hooter. So Bradford hitting back right on the half-time hooter with a try awarded to Richard Francis. But very dubious there, as Anderson, I think it was, that kicked it through, and Beavers actually scooped it dead, but the touch judge was on the job and he awarded the try. Referee Morris came over, and that leaves the half-time score in the second half. The Stonesbitter League clash. 8 points to 4 in the Saints' favour at half-time, and Bradford very lucky to be on the sheet. When you look at that again on the video, no doubt you will replay it again and again, and it was never in with a whisker of touching the ball. It was given by the touch judge. Referee Morris came across. The touch judge gave it, but Beavers had scooped the ball dead. It was nowhere near it. The Bradford Northern man, Francis, that was awarded the try. But it's Saints, George Mann, moving it cross field. Groves a dummy half. Farber running hard and straight and true. Excellent display from Farber. Kevin Ward rested, obviously for the big match this Saturday. Groves from dummy half, turns it inside to Farber. He gets within 2 or 3 feet of the halfway line. It's the sixth and final tackle. Rapati has it. Kicks it towards Gerald Cordell's corner. Cordell has it, runs it cross field. And that's all he is doing, running cross field. He's well brought down. George Mann closed down the angle, and the Saints came in and tackled him. It's now Roger Simpson. He's doing the same, running cross field, but not gaining much forward yardage. Just having a very pleasant drink at half time with a bitterly cold evening as Bradford move up just short of the halfway line. Excellent strong running there. Hobbs, I presume. Awkward bounce. Beavers has to change tack, but no problem. Tackled 5 yards short of the 25-yard line. And now Bernard Dwyer streaking through is Bernard. Excellent run from Bernard, 20-odd yards there. Groves onto Sonny Nicol. Up to the halfway line is Nicol. Couple of Bradford Northern tacklers bring him down. Groves turns it inside. Bishop takes it crossfield. George Mann looking for that gap. Bounces off the defenders. Turns it back inside. When it's kicked forward, Bradford Northern will gain possession. Roger Simpson has it. Loose play again, and Francis comes up with the ball on the far side. Simpson again from dummy half. Looking for the gap. Speed merchant is Simpson. Once he gets in the clear, and there's always a chance from acting half, but he can take the defence on. Bradford in possession. Richards it is, just juggling a bit with the ball. But an excellent 15-yard burst from him. Penetrates the Saints half. And Bradford now running it across the field. Marchant, Hobbs, turns it back in field. That's the fifth and final tackle of this sequence. It's Marchant again. Chips it through. It just finds touch. Yes, 5 yards from the Saints try line. On the sixth tackle, under a bit of pressure there, Marchant, but he got his kick away, and it was a good touch finder. Scrum down with the Saints feed. 10 yards now from their own line. 3 minutes of the half gone. The second half, 8 points to 4. The score. Bishop feeds it. Saints come up with possession. It's Tony Sullivan. Brought down there by John Hamer. Now it's Beavers linking up as the extra man. Groves, George Mann, bounces off the defence, comes back inside as George Mann. Can't get this fella down. Finally brought to the ground. Centre field just outside his own 25-yard line. Bradford move back and line up. Bernard Dwyer looks for the gap. Bradford Northern substitute there, Brett Ighty, limbering up. The Saints kick up field. Richard Francis gathers it. He's brought down just outside his own 25-yard line. The Bradford are in possession. Simpson. Richards now looking for the space. It seemed to open up and then it was closed down. And Sonny Nicol moving in quickly, doing the tackling. Little chip kick through, well taken, well read by Paul Bishop. Turns it inside to Beavers as he straightens up, drives upfield as Beavers, up to the 25. Yes, Rapati's there, and Rapati's under the sticks. Excellent try for the Saints. And that's going to be a 6-pointer. 5 minutes of the second half gone, and Rapati comes up with his second of the evening. Excellent try from Rapati. It was Bradford that had possession. They chipped it through. Paul Bishop read it well. He turned Phil Beavers backing up, and Beavers came through at pace. And he must have gone about 40 yards upfield. Beavers running hard onto that ball from Bishop. And Rapati there on hand again, as he was for the opening try. And Rapati touches down under the sticks, and that will be, as I said, 6 points for the Saints. 10 points to 4 at present. Should be 10 points to 0, shouldn't it? But the touch judge gave the try in the corner, and Bishop should get on the sheet for his first of the evening. Strikes it well, Bishop, right between the uprights. 12-4 it was there, and that Bishop conversion making it 14 points to 4.
Helens by number 7 for Bishop. Substitution for Bradford North. number 14, Brett Eaty, replaces number 7, Neil Summers.
So as you just heard, Brett Eaty on for Neil Summers. 6 minutes into the second half, and Saints put Bradford under the cosh there. Alan Hunt takes it well, drives up to the 25, but Rapati there, excellent display, always on hand, ever present in the Saints team so far this season. Tony Sullivan, excuse me, trying to scamper away. Richards now gets the loose ball and drives up for Bradford. Big lad, this Richards. Well, a bit of interfering at the play of the ball. Saints are penalised by referee Morris. And Brett Eaty plays it quickly. John Hamer driving up to the line, up to the Saints line. He's brought down about 8 yards short. Bradford playing it tight. It's on to Richards now, Craig Richards. Big, strong lad, and, well, threw the ball away there. Well, he lost the ball in the tackle. Another controversial decision. Referee Morris looking over to his touch judge, and to be quite honest, I don't think the touch judge had a clue. But Saints were penalised. And it's Greenwood trying to make headway. Big lad, rangy second row. Breaking through at Bradford, yes, and they've scored. Medley touches down for the second try on the sheet for Bradford, but the first proper try that they've scored after 8 minutes of the second half. So Paul Medley scores a try, brings them back to 14 points to 8, and the conversion from Hobbs to come from about 8 yards in, and just as you can see there, just outside the 25-yard line. While Hobbs is preparing, I've just got a little congratulations. Can I congratulate Mark Thompson? It's a belated greeting. Unfortunately, we didn't do a video against the Leeds match, but Mark Thompson, congratulations on his engagement to Sharon Bromilo on February the 14th. How romantic, eh? Valentine's Day. She comes from a very wealthy family, I've been led to believe, who live at the top of New Street in St Helens. And as you know, they're season ticket holders of the Saints, but a very wealthy family, and nice to see that Mark Thompson is marrying into a bit of money. Congratulations from Mum and Dad and all at the Saints video. That conversion attempt waved away, the score remaining at Saints 14, Bradford 8, and Saints to kick off. Bradford doing well there, the first time they've put a real lot of pressure on the Saints. Up at the end that we're in now at the first half, got about 12 tackles together but couldn't penetrate the line. But they got it together there, and Medley coming through on a diagonal run and finishing off in this right-hand corner. 14 points to 8, and the first, as I said, the first real try to Bradford. But the Saints defence there, forcing Bradford back. They want to peg them in their own 25. That try coming as the result of a touch judge's decision again, when Craig Richards had actually thrown the ball away, in my unbiased opinion. As we know, the Pie Eaters beat Warrington today 14-0, and that sets up a tie at Nosey Road this Saturday, another televised tie for the third round of the Challenge Cup. And also Great Britain running out 31 points, I think it was, to 12 winners, with Jonathan Griffiths and Gary Connolly playing, and Jonathan Griffiths scoring a try. Did well there, Great Britain debut and scoring a try. Scrum down, and the scrum turned, and referee Morris is there on the job. Saints have possession. Rapati now breaking through, gets the ball away. Well, the ball's loose and Bradford have it, but a knock-on indicated there. 14 points to 8 the score. Bradford break quickly. Brett Eaty, a very sharp New Zealander, on the substitutes bench this afternoon. Well, Paul Bishop there being manhandled off the player in the tackle. Certainly a bone of contention with me, with players being pulled off in the tackle. It's all wrong. Well, somebody's going to get a yellow card here. Paul Groves getting 10 minutes sin bin. Holding down in the tackle is the indication. 10 minutes sin bin Groves is given. Unfortunately, he doesn't like it. I don't like the decision either. But we've got to suffer it, haven't we? So Saints temporarily down to 12 men. A chance for Bradford Northern to get 2 points back on the board, on the scoreboard, trailing by 6 points. 14 points to 8, and Hobbs looking to tag this one over. Paul Bishop unsuccessful from a similar position in the first half. Already at home this season, we've beaten Bradford Northern 30 points to 12. We've beaten them by the same score, 30 points to 12 in the Regal Trophy. That one's gone to the left of the stick, similar position to Paul Bishop's. And last season against Bradford, 2 tightly contested games at Nosey Road, we beat them by 24 points to 20. Here at Odsal, just losing by 2 points, 18 points to 16. Saints drop out, IT has it, and Saints come in and pressurise him. Sonny Nickel taking him to the well. He didn't actually bounce him to the ground. You've got to get hold of these little men and certainly make the tackles count. Bradford now, they'll be looking to put a bit of pressure on the Saints. Reduced to 12 men for a further 10 minutes. And the spectators here, the Bradford Northern spectators, are crying for everything. The ball released, Richards has it. Solid tackling centre field, nothing more than you can expect. IT again, getting things going, moving it on the far side. Bundled into touch is Richard Francis on the far side. Scrum down with the Saints speed. The Saints go over there quickly. 14 minutes of the half gone. Saints win possession from the scrum. Rapati there in the clear again, bouncing off the defence, the Bradford defence. Excellent display from Tia Rapati as ever, but George Mann there trying to bust his way through. Beavers at dummy half now. Cooper on the far side, he takes it over to Les Quirk. Sonny Nickel from dummy half. And Saints moving forward, 30 or 40 yards, they moved upfield, putting Bradford under pressure. Rapati again, takes it centre field, looks for the gap. Tremendous upper body strength, Rapati, but just can't shrug the tacklers off this time. Last tackle of this sequence, and it's with Bishop, chips it through, well Bishop has it again. Well, a knock-on being given, came off a Bradford player there, it certainly looks as though it came off a Bradford player, and the changeover is going to be given there as referee Morris. The first handover I think we've had of this game. Bradford in possession, solid tackling from the Saints. Farber and George Mann quickly in. Looks like Medley running out wide, wide. Maybe Wild as well. Cardle trying to scamper away, and Bradford will be looking to get points on the board while Saints have a man deficient. 16 minutes and a half gone, 14 points to 8 the score. Temper's getting a little frayed at the play of the ball, but Cardle there. But referee Morris and his touch judge reporting, but the touch judge is doing a lot of pointing at Gerald Cardle. Whether he was doing a bit of, well, he's looking though he's on about going in with the knee or whatever, but it's Cardle that's going to be brought out. Will it result in a penalty for the Saints? Only time will tell. It certainly looks that way. Bradford were in possession, and they've surrendered that possession now. Phil Beavers, well, stamping is the indication. Phil Beavers just tapped it into touch, and Saints now will try to build the platform for a further score. Cooper onto George Mann. Still shrugging the tacklers off his George Mann. Back into the fray. What a tremendous forward. As I say, he's had 4 matches rest, enforced rest. Mike Riley has to take the tackle on the far side. Now Saints come away with it. Cooper was the first man in. Farber knocks it on. Alan Hunt picks it up. Bitterly cold for the players out there, although they are doing a bit of running about. But if you're not in the thick of the action, your fingers, your hands, they must get bitterly cold. Bradford to feed the scrum. Haiti there to feed it. They have scrum possession, they bring it blindside. It's Medley again. Inside there to Richards, but Bradford Northern looking a bit bereft of ideas at present. They want to capitalise on the 1 man down that Saints have, with Paul Groves being sent to the sin bin, but excellent tackling on the far side. Bradford still contained in their own half, and Richard Francis looking to come cross field. Solid tackling again. Quickly in there, excellent tackling. George Mann comes in, wraps his man. As Brett Haiti trying to scamper through. Shane Cooper, he's the second tackler in there, along with Bernard Dwyer. Hobbs with a lofted kick, but Beavers there. Well, uncharacteristically, Phil Beavers knocks it on. He'd be disappointed with that, will Phil? He doesn't miss so many of those high balls. He didn't look under a lot of pressure, but unfortunately he knocked it forward. Saints do manage to regather possession, but it's a scrum down with the Bradford feed. 25 yards from the Saints line. Bradford with possession, they bring it blindside. Marchant turns it inside, and the Saints cover defence come up. Marchant again, attacked in half-back. Onto Greenwood, diagonal run from this big lad. He's brought down 15 yards short. John Hamer taking up the running. 10 yards short now of Bradford. They're trailing by 14 points to 8. Trying a goal and put them back on level terms, obviously. And Saints defence will have to hold firm. Excellent tackling from the Saints there. Cries, big cries from Bradford, but that was a perfectly fair chest tackle from Sonny Nicholl, I think it was, coming through. As Bradford, well, it's a knock-on. The knock-on finally ruled with Bradford Northern in possession. Referee Morris looking for advantage, trying to play advantage, hoping that Saints could capitalise on the loose ball. Well, we're halfway through this second half, 20 minutes played, 20 minutes to go. 14 points to 8 the score, so still anybody's game. Bishop feeds it and gets the ball away to Rapati. Just couldn't shrug the tackler off there. Simpson this time it was. But it's Shane Cooper now, bringing the ball away, and Saints are moving 15-20 yards upfield. 10 yards short of the halfway line now. And George Mann had an excellent game, turned in the tackle, gives it to Beavers, out to Bernard Dwyer. He straightens up, does Bernard. He's over the halfway line now. And just a minute I'll make it now before Saints are back to a full complement. As Beavers, good ball out there to Alan Hunt, he turns inside. And Nicholl stepping up at the acting half-back position, but Saints moving upfield and spreading it out. They'll spread it out as Bradford Northern move up quickly. George Mann has to take the tackle, 6th and final tackle of this set. Farber back to Beavers, grubbers it well into touch. Yes, excellent grubber kick on the 6th tackle from Phil Beavers. He finds touch 10 yards short of the Bradford try line. And a scrum down with the Bradford feed. At a time now that Saints will have to hold Bradford up in their own 25 as they're 10 yards short, and they should win possession from this scrum. IT feeds, turns it inside to Simpson. Vivers comes up, closes him down quickly. Well, Paul Groves here now, just emerging from the dugout, ready to get back in the action. And Saints have weathered the storm. Solid display from Bradford, trying to break the tight Saints defence. But Saints are putting an excellent performance here at Todsdale. Always a difficult place to come away with 2 points here at Bradford. Good Homestead's ground. IT has possession. Bradford kick it downfield. Finds touch about 15 yards from the Saints try line. Paul Groves back now in the action. Lining up the referee Morris on the job, and Paul Groves taking his position in the centre of the front row. Bishop to feed. Turns it inside. Rapati on for Tony Sullivan. Wants a quick play the ball to Sullivan. Bradford just have to get back a little quicker. Cooper turns it back to Beavers. Gives the dummy. Beavers still going. Drives upfield. Excellent campaign of Phil Beavers. Just that one rare mistake. The Saints have a penalty. Bradford lying on. Well, I mean, if it's good enough for Paul Groves lying on and getting 10 minutes in the sin bin, there's no reason why these other players shouldn't suffer the same consequence. But whether Groves had said anything or not, we don't know. But referee Morris dispatched him. And Phil Beavers finds touch on the far side, midway between the Bradford 25 and the halfway line. Referee Morris pointing to the spot there. Groves turns it inside Bishop. It's on to George Mann now. Had an excellent game as George Mann. And Saints now looking to get a score that will win them this match this evening. In the last 15 minutes now. Well, bang to the ground there. What's up with that, referee Morris? Right on the job, but not saying very much as Farber straightens it up. Look to turn it infield. 25 yards from the Bradford line now. Another score to secure this match. And Rapati, is he going for his hat-trick? He gets it away on the far side to Quirk, but he's bundled into touch. Right in the corner. Excellent cover defence from Bradford. Forced Les Quirk into touch, but Rapati again looking very sharp. Broke away quickly. Fed the ball out to Les Quirk on the far side, but Bradford covered excellently and bounced him into touch right in the corner. IT to feed. Well, a penalty to the Saints there. Bradford penalised for not packing correctly. The Saints play it quickly now. Cooper turns it inside to Nickel. He bounces off the defence, does Nickel, but he's finally brought down. Beavers at dummy, Groves at dummy half, I beg your pardon. But Saints now throwing the ball about. It's Bernard Dwyer. Drives for the line, does Bernard? Can he get in? A try's given. Yes, I'm sure it's Bernard Dwyer. He's touched down just to the right of the sticks. And I think that'll secure the 2 points for the Saints this evening. Bernard Dwyer. Excellent campaigner for the Saints. Doesn't get on the scoreboard very often. Yes, Bernard Dwyer is credited with the try. His 6th try of the season. He's also scored 12 goals in that game earlier in the season, the Lancashire Cup game. But an excellent display there from Bernard, always foraging about. 18 points to 8 the score, and Bishop there right in front of the stick, shouldn't have any problem. Bishop strikes it well between the uprights. The touch judges' flags are raised and 20 points to 8 the score. A 12-point cushion for the Saints. With 13 or 14 minutes remaining.
The Helens try converted by number 7 for...
On this bitterly cold evening here at Oddsall. So don't forget, you ladies, or any of you gentlemen, if you're good knitters, for games such as this, we wouldn't mind a few balaclavas. And we'll give you a mention on the video. Alan Hunt stretching through. Took it deep in his own 25. George Mann now taking up the run-in, pushing the defenders off, moving over. Now with Sonny Little. Watch this man go up the touchline, shrugs the defence off, turns in field. Saints now looking hungry. They weathered the storm when Groves was off. And Saints, they've got to spread it out. Pace on the right. It's chipped through there. The chase is on. Does Cooper have it? Saints are still in possession. Looks like Rapati over on the far side. Well, he's given a double movement indication there on the far side, whether it was Rapati. They actually had it, but he's given a double movement. But Saints throwing caution to the wind there and showing plenty of enterprise and throwing the ball about, letting the ball do the work, and they nearly paid off in another try. Don't forget also, we've got this Leeds video, the full game of the Saints Cup triumph over Leeds. It's a BBC version, available at your club shop. Bradford kick through, Vivers have it. Tony Sullivan now takes the ball as Vivers takes the tackle and Sullivan forced into touch. Saints looking to make a substitution with Shane Cooper coming off and Mark Bailey coming on. Sullivan forced into touch. Has come down. So Mark Bailey coming on. Shane Cooper being brought off. I feel surely as a precautionary measure, while more or less the game is virtually won. 10 minutes remaining. And Saints with a comfortable 20 points to 8 lead. Puts an extra nail in the Bradford Northern coffin. They're in 12th position in the Stones Bitter League table. They've only 10 points to show for their efforts this season as Richards burst through. He's looking to spread it, but Mark Bailey has him clamped. Alan Hunt on the job as well. John Hamer turns it back inside. Always looking to throw it out of Bradford, but not been coming off for him tonight. Only one good try by Medley. The other one accredited to Richard Francis was a non-entity. We'll see what Eddie Hemmings and Steve-O have to say on that on the Sky broadcast. Well, Vivers there, takes it no problem and comes away. Vivers, Vivers is the cry. Hello, last week or this week on the Sky channel, Eddie Hemmings was saying how he'd had some cold specs. Well, I bet he hasn't had as many cold specs as us. The wind's dropped in the second half. It has up here, it's not half as cold up here in the second half, but it's still bitter as Rapati tries to come away. Saints comfortably in the lead by 20 points to 8. And Bishop gets the kick away. Excellent testing kick there. Pegs Bradford back in their own 25. And it makes it all that more difficult for them to score when they've got to scrum down in their own 25. As I said, Bradford are in the danger zone. Before tonight, they've played 17. They've only won 5 of those, losing 12, obviously, with 290 points for, 372 against. 10 points and in 12th position. Whereas Saints, they're in second position. They've played 18, won 12, drawn 1, lost 5, 379 for, 255 against, and 25 points. And it's only the pie eaters at the top of the table. And as we've said before, we look forward to this Saturday's clash. We're top of the table. Saints and Wigan meet in the third round of the Rugby League Challenge Cup. At least it'll be a change Obviously for both Saints and the Pie Eaters to play on a proper ground and not on a ploughed field like the Central Park pitch. But Bradford there breaking away, Medley doing a lot of the spade work. He fed it inside to Gerald Cardle. He only had to take it cleanly. I don't think he'd have scored, but he knocked it forward. Another chance going a begging for Bradford. But Medley, certainly an excellent display. And I wouldn't be surprised if Medley doesn't get the man of the match award for Bradford, the home award. Well, the touch judge there just being treated by Saints physio Jeanette Smith. It certainly looks though it's yes, it is Jeanette. Obviously he's damaged a fetlock there, but he must be fit. So it's Bishop to feed. Well, Bradford penalised, and temper's getting a little frayed in the powerhouse there. Saints have been awarded the penalty. Bradford are rushing away. David Hobbs is captain, but he doesn't like it, and going in with the head is the indication. Well, if there's headbutting and all sorts, certainly it's worthy of 10 minutes in the sin bin. But Saints well in command. 7 minutes before the full-time hooter. As obviously the Bradford Northern spectators not liking Mr. Morris. We certainly had a better game than he did to Nosey Road against Featherstone, even though he started off in a rather dubious manner. But it's Saints again, looking to put it together. George Mann and Paul Bishop combining, with the ball going out to Sonny Nicol. It went to ground. Bradford have possession. They're looking to spread it.
And the result of the first try ticket competition is...
And Saints moving quickly, force the man down.
22 minutes. The second half, there again number 6 at 45 minutes.
Bradford breaking away. Alan Hunt going in for the tackle. Georgie Simpson from dummy half. George Mann wraps him up again. Gets hold of him and bangs him to the ground. Simpson doesn't like it, but he'll not pick his weight there with George Mann, will he? Saints defence holding firm. Bradford on the sixth tackle again. Ighty looking to get things away. Well, it bounces once and finds touch just to the right of our commentary position. 10 yards inside the Saints 25. 6 minutes remaining. 20 points to 8 the score. An extra 2 points for the Saints. John Harrison going off injured in the first half. Let's hope it's nothing too serious and that he can get his place in the side for this Saturday's forthcoming Silk Cut Challenge Cup clash. Beavers at dummy half, on to Bernard Dwyer. Breaking through again, Bernard, scorer of the last try in the 25th minute. An excellent try from Bernard. Nothing more than he deserves for his excellent work that he puts in tirelessly week after week. Mike Riley at dummy half, feeds it inside to Paul Farber. Up to the halfway line is Farber. Saints looking hungry. Took a knock in the tackle there as Paul Farber. Perhaps got a little bit of cramp. I think he's going to be able to get up and play the ball as Saints physio Jeanette Smith goes over to treat him. Otherwise the ball will have to be taken away from him and just brought over while somebody else plays it. Just receiving treatment, Paul Farber. Yes, he's up now. He'll run that little knock off. As Bradford move up exceptionally quickly. Well, Bailey taking a high one there as Hobbs came through, but the referee not doing anything about that either. Hobbs coming through on Bailey. Certainly took him high there, in my opinion. Right in front of the referee, but the referee Morris not impressed at all. Mark Bailey receiving treatment. Jeanette Smith, as she was on that far side, came back on quickly. Well, he's up now. He's had the old magic sponge or whatever, and on a bitterly cold night like this, I'm sure if somebody come and whapped a sponge round my nether regions, I'd be up quite sharply. The Beavers inside to Farber, up to the halfway line again. In the last 4 minutes of the game, and Saints are going to come away with the 2 league points this evening, no doubt about that. Bishop, cut out ball there, but Bradford read it and closed him down quickly. Bishop gets his kick away under a lot of pressure. Yes, an excellent touch-finding kick. 15 yards from the Bradford line. Solid team performance from the Saints. It was 22 minutes before the scoring was opened in the first half, and Rapati there, excellent backing up from him, resulting in a try. Farber scored another 4 minutes later. 8 points to nil for the Saints. Both goal kicks going to the left of the sticks, and then Bradford just getting on the score sheet right at the end, the last minute, virtually the last seconds of the first half, with a try that was never even got a sniff in it, as Beavers scooped it dead, but it was awarded by the touch judge, or he said it was a try. 8 points to 4 at half time. Then in the second half, Rapati on the sheet after 5 minutes, and then Medley with an excellent try for Bradford. After 8 minutes, 14 points to 8, and then the game obviously tightly poised, a 6-point gap. 25 minutes into the second half before Bernard Dwyer broke the deadlock again, virtually giving the Saints the 2 points by extending the lead to 12 points. That's how it stands at present, 20 points to 8, and we're talking about 2 minutes of the game remaining. A deep kick, high kick from Bradford. Sullivan takes it well. Beavers acting half-back, brings it blindside, and it's Les Quirk coming over from the right wing. Well, a scrum down, unfortunately. Les Quirk lost that ball. The touch judge over here on the far side, on the near side, I beg your pardon, we thought it indicated, but that was a similar situation to the first half when Richards, he lost possession, but on that occasion Saints were penalised for actually reaping the ball out of his hands. But Bradford, Marchant on the first tackle there. He's asking for a lot, is Marchant, isn't he? On the first tackle, and he kicks the ball deep. I'm sure certainly a mix-up there in the Bradford Northern outfit. They just got a possession after Les Quirk had unfortunately lost possession, and Marchant kicked it through. Bradford certainly haven't got that much pace as Farber, he breaks through now. Bailey was on his right. In the dying seconds now. Groves onto Bernard Dwyer, quickly wrapped up, midway between his own 25 and the halfway line. Groves there, he spent 10 minutes in the sin bin for an indiscretion as Nickel tries to get things underway. He's breaking through, but he couldn't shrug the tacklers off. George Mann, he can. George Mann, a rampaging run. Inside ball to Beavers. Back to George Mann. He's going diagonally. He changes tack. It's inside again to Beavers. Well, the ball's lost. Oh, unlucky there. But what a try wouldn't that have been to finish off this evening's game. George Mann breaking through. Him and Beavers linked up. They interpassed as they went up toward the Bradford line. But the ball going to ground. Actually playing in stoppage time now, with 40 seconds of stoppage time on the clock. Just those few seconds earlier on for those couple of injuries. Bradford win scrum possession, bring it away. They're held on their own, 10 yards from their own line, as Roger Simpson moving over to the left. Nearly breaking through the Saints cover defence. He gets up to the 25. Francis coming cross field, but no forward impetus. He's just running straight across the field, and that's just not good enough. But Bradford can't see them getting a long range try here. Well, can't see them as Marchant comes away, turns inside. Excellent tackling from the Saints. Just waiting for the final hooter. There it is. Haiti tries to get it underway, but the ball's dead. That's it. That wraps the game up. Temper's getting a little frayed. Haiti tried to get his kick away, but he was tackled before he could get boot to ball. But referee Morris again quickly in, and not a stranger to a little bit of a controversy is referee Morris. But anyway, everything's all right now. The players shake hands. Just a little indifference of opinion, but Saints win the 2 league points. They come out victors by 20 points to 8 here at Odsal. Obviously a difficult tie. Thanks for joining us. You've been with your Saints video team. My name's Ron Booth. You've had Peter Trushingham on the camera this evening. There's the Saints players. They come and acknowledge the travelling public, as they should do. There's no danger about that. Certainly there'll be some public support for the Saints at Nosey Road this Saturday when they entertain the old pie eaters. Thanks once again for joining us. We hope to see you at Nosey Road on Saturday for the 3rd round of the Challenge Cup.